Hello, fourth graders. It is officially the best time of the day. It's math time. Today we're going to do things a little bit different so that I can use the whiteboard back here behind us. We are actually moving on from decimals. So if you guys still have questions on decimals, anything, please let me know. We can go over them again and we will review them again. But today we're going to start with some measurement. Okay, this is something new for fourth grade. I know you guys have talked about this in previous grades, but it's new for this year. So we're going to be talking about measuring length today. So remember, the length is how long something is. Okay, well, I can't make my length longer than what you guys can see here. So we are going to be talking about the customary units, which is what we use here in the United States to measure different lengths of things. And there are 4 different vocabulary words that we are going to learn today that we're going to be focusing a lot on. And that is those measurement terms, ways that we measure things. So I am going to get up here so that I hope you guys can see the whiteboard okay. Here, let's go like this. Okay. So up here we have measuring length. The first measurement we have that I want to talk about is inches. So an inch is one way that we can measure things. I'm going to show you guys here on the ruler that I have. You can see right here, is 1 inch. Okay, so you see your ruler. It says inch there. You want to make sure then you find that 1. Okay, so that is how long an inch is. Can any of you think of something that is 1 inch long? Think about that in your head here for a minute. And I actually have a few examples of things that are an inch that we have right here in our classroom. So my first example that I have is an eraser. If I hold it up to my ruler, you can see here that it is just about 1 inch, maybe a little bit shorter, but it's pretty close. And then my second example, okay, now that you guys know that an inch is about the size of an eraser, can you think of anything else? I'm gonna put that up here for our notes. The eraser is about 1 inch. It's something we would measure in inches. All right, my second example that I have here is a paper clip. Okay, one of the small paper clips. If I measure it here with my ruler, you can see it's a little bit over an inch. It's a little longer than an inch, but it's pretty close. So that is something we would measure in inches, a paper clip. So I'll add that up here, small paper clip. All right, one last example I have here. I think it's a little smaller than an inch, but a quarter. Okay, some of you might have a quarter laying around somewhere. If we measure it here, looks like it's just about 1 inch, maybe a little shorter, but that shows you a good example there. It's something that we would measure using inches. Okay, so I'll add quarter up here to our example. So our first vocab word for today is inch. That is our smallest unit of measurement when we are measuring length. I'm still kind of getting used to this video thing. I'm not used to it yet, okay? But things that are just about an inch are an eraser topper, small paper clip, and a quarter. And now you can tell we are going to move on to our second vocabulary word today, and that is foot. 1 foot. It's not like your foot. Some people's foot might be a foot, but yours aren't and mine aren't going to be. So our 1 foot is the length of a ruler. Okay, so we're going to use the same ruler to measure feet. Okay, 1 ruler is 1 foot. Okay, because there are 12 inches in a ruler. You can see here, there's 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, and it goes all the way down to 12, right where it says inch. So I want you guys to think, can you think of anything that might be 1 foot? Once again, I have some examples over here of things that we had here in our classroom, and let's talk about them. The first one that I have is a folder. Folders. Our folders are, oops, I have it on the centimeter side. That's not very good side to use when we're measuring in inches or in feet, actually. But you can tell here that our folder isn't quite 1 foot. It's pretty close, but it's not quite there. So it's a little smaller, but it's close to 1 foot. So I will add folder to our examples. My next example that I have that we use a lot in our classroom is a clipboard. So let's see here. This one, oops, put it right here. You guys can see is just about right at 1 foot. Maybe a little bit longer. So our clipboard is 1 foot. All right, the next example I have, I thought was kind of fun that I had to share it. Our Laffy Taffy container is 1 foot tall, maybe a little less than 1 foot, but it's pretty close. So I thought that'd be a fun one to share. I'm gonna put that one up there, but I'll leave those right there, they'll stay. So we know that our Laffy Taffy container is about 1 foot. Okay, so now we have inches. That's our smallest unit of measurement for measuring length right now that we're talking about. Okay. Then we have a foot. Remember, there are 12 inches in 1 foot. And next we are going to move on to yard. Okay. Once again, this one's a little different. It's not like the yard at your house. Okay. It's a little bit smaller than that, but you could probably measure your yard outside in yards. So right here, I have a yardstick. Okay, so this one shows you how long a yard is. And just to help you out a little bit, there are 3 feet in each yard. So we could fit 3 of these rulers into 1 yardstick. Okay. And then there are, remember, inches are about this big. There are 36 inches in our yardstick. Okay, so our yard's getting a little bit larger, again, a little longer. Okay. The first example I have here, well, let's see if I can get it to show, of a yard measuring is my chair. My chair is right about 1 yard long, or 1 yard tall, I should say. Okay. Add up a little bit more. Okay. So that shows right about at 1 yard. And then, so I'm going to put that up here, chair. Another example that I found when I was wandering around the classroom was the height of our shelf that has our math games on it. I couldn't bring that over here, so, but you guys know what I'm talking about, I think. So that shelf stands about this tall, so it is about 1 yard tall. And then one other example that I couldn't bring over here with me was the width of the door. Okay, walking into our classroom, you walk through the door, and this is exactly how wide it is. It is 1 yard wide to walk through. That's how much room we have, 1 yard. Okay. All right, so we talked about our inch, our foot, our yard, and the last unit of measurement that we are going to talk about today is mile. Okay. A mile measures very long distances, as you guys know, usually like between cities, maybe from your house to your friend's house. How many miles away do you live? Okay. So we know that that's a much larger than our other units. I was reading that depending on the town or the city size, usually a mile is between 8 and 13 blocks. So if you're out on a walk, maybe you want to count those blocks and see how far you walk, or if you have a watch or a phone or something that measures that, you can figure out how long exactly that mile is. See how tired you get. Maybe you want to run that. You guys can think back with Mrs. Evans also. You've ran a mile, you know that it's a long distance. Okay. So that is it today for our customary units of measurement of length. So you guys do have an assignment that you can complete, and it's mainly just going to talk about which unit you would use to measure. So whether you would use inches, feet, yards, or miles to measure the length of this desk. Okay, I just have one of your classmates' desks that I'm using right now. Okay, that if I'm asked what would I use to measure how long this is, I would say feet. Okay, because if you look here, we'll see if I can move you around here. It's longer than 1 foot, but it's not quite as long as a yardstick. So I would use feet to measure the length of this desk. Okay. So if you have any questions on your assignment, please let me know. And I hope this video helps you. See you later.